let's talk thrift store finds. I went to a thrift store. It's called a creative reuse center, and it's a place where people can go and donate their crafts that they don't need anymore, and the center will accept those donations and then resell them. So it's a thrift store for crafters. And I went the other day and I found all of this yarn, which I don't normally find all of this yarn in this quantity of same skeins of yarn. So usually I might find, one or two skeins of yarn that are the same, and then everything else are, maybe partial skeins, but nothing that is substantial enough for a large project. So when I found these at the thrift store, I just knew that I couldn't really pass up a good deal. So I'm gonna go through these with you today, and we're gonna see what we found. First up, we have the Loops and Threads Wool-like. It's an acrylic nylon blend, and I find that it's a fingering weight yarn, and I find that it drapes really nicely. I really like the way that this feels. It's soft against the skin, and it really does drape very nicely. And this was 3 for $6. So there's 3 in this bag, and it was $6. I actually picked up quite a bit of the white color because I want to do a big color work project. And so I thought, I found this too. It's the same thing. It's Loops and Threads Wool-like, and there's 4 of them in here for $8. And I thought these two would look really good together if I do some kind of color work project, and there's enough to make a substantial project like a sweater or a blanket or a big scarf or a shawl. So I was kind of excited about that, about finding the quantity of yarn that I did. So this and paired with this, so I've got 7 of these, plenty for any kind of, I think, project that I wanted to do. And also a bag of 4 of them. This one was $8. This is also the Loops and Threads Wool-like, and reminds me of Christmas, really. This kind of dark red. It's like a dark red burgundy kind of color, and that really reminds me of Christmas. Picked up this one just because I could not resist the colorway. I don't know why I love striped yarns so much, but I really do. And there's 4 of them in here, and that was $8. And this is Bernat Big Stripes. So again, just really cute. The colorway kind of reminds me of spring, It's got white and pinks and lilacs, and really nice. And all new, all of these yarns, they all have the label on it. They're not, tangled up. They're not coming undone. So that was also a really, really kind of important, because I don't really want to find partial skeins of yarn or balls of yarn that have been, wound up, separately, and then find that they're, I'm just dealing with tangles and knots, and I just don't want to deal with that. So the next thing I had is, let's see, this is Caron Simply Soft, and let me see if you can see this here, because this colorway, you probably can't see it very well in the camera, but this is Caron Simply Soft Paints. And the reason I got this was because it is such a rich and deep chocolate color. For years now, I've wanted to make a kind of coffee or coffee house inspired shawl that has these, deep, brown, but deep brown tones in it, and I could never find the right yarn, and I knew that I didn't want to use a solid color brown. I thought that might be not as exciting as using maybe a like a variegated yarn, which this is, and it's got really deep hues of purple I see in here, and brown, and blue, dark blue. I think that would look really nice in just a very comfortable shawl. As I said, for years I've been wanting to make something like that, and I just could never find the right yarn, but I think I did with this yarn. And this has 5 of them for $10. So I really couldn't pass that up. And actually, there was another bag of them too. Another 4 of them for $8. So I've got 9 of these, which is plenty to make like a huge shawl, or probably 2 or more of them. Probably more, right? For $18. That's pretty good. Now we've got 2 of these. So each of these bags was $5, and inside it is Baby Bee Sweet Delight prints. So how many was that? 8 skeins of this for $10. And this is it's like a white, it's a really white base, but it's got, if you could see it, it's got flecks of light purple, pink, and light blue. So I normally don't get yarns like this that you would typically find as, you call them like baby colors. They're baby colors. I don't make projects for babies. I don't knit for babies. My kids are bigger now, but when they were babies, yes, I knit for my kids. But since then, I don't knit baby colors like this. But I really couldn't resist this yarn because it just seems so cute and adorable. The colors, I mean, I could picture making maybe a cardigan or a sweater for a little girl. I think that would look super sweet and adorable in this colored yarn. With these little, it's white with these little flecks of color in it. So I'm looking forward to making something like that with this to see how it turns out. I think it'd be really sweet. And then last but not least, I haven't worked with this yarn before, but there were 7 of them in this bag and it was $7. And it's called Hirschner's 2-ply fashion yarn. And I don't normally go for green, but I mean, it's kind of a springtime look, right? Like kind of springtime colors. It's got pink and purple in it, dark green, light green. So I thought, well, for $7, sure, why not? Let's see what we can make with this yarn and it was $7. So it's not like it was a big commitment. And I'm sure I'll find a project at some point in my life. So yeah, so that was 7 of them in here for $7. And that is the end of my thrift store yarn haul. Again, never found a yarn haul quite this big, and I'm kind of excited about it. Can't wait to get started on my next projects. See you later.